In this GlowShift Gauges installation video, we'll show you how to install the GlowShift fuel rail pressure gauge into your 2001 to 2018 Duramax. When you're ready, grab your tools and we'll meet you in the garage. For the purpose of this install, we'll be using a 2002 Duramax 6.6 liter LB7 to install our gauge. Depending on your specific model year, your factory fuel rail sensor may be in a different location on the engine and may require different steps for installation. For safety, disconnect the negative battery terminal before starting any installation on the truck. Use a screwdriver to loosen and remove the intake tubing. Using a 10mm socket with an extension, remove the 3 bolts securing the turbo inlet elbow to the turbo. Remove the turbo inlet elbow from the turbo. Reach down to the fuel rail and disconnect the factory fuel rail pressure sensor harness. Remove the wire loom to gain access to the sensor wires. Refer to the included gauge instructions for the correct wire colors for your specific vehicle year. Connect a wire tap connector to the signal wire. Then attach a wire tap connector to the ground wire. Attach a male spade connector to the green and black wires from the gauge wire harness. Then, connect the black wire to the ground wire and connect the green wire to the signal wire. Wrap the wires with additional wire loom or electrical tape. Plug the fuel rail pressure sensor harness back into the fuel rail pressure sensor. To make installation easier, a plug-and-play fuel pressure gauge wiring harness can be purchased from our website. If you purchase the fuel rail pressure gauge wiring harness, start by disconnecting the factory fuel rail pressure harness from the sensor. Plug it into the female end of the harness and plug the male side into the factory fuel rail sensor. Using a butt connector, connect the green wire from the harness to the green wire from the gauge wiring harness. Then, use a butt connector to connect the black wire from the harness to the black wire from the gauge wiring harness. Place a new gasket onto the turbo inlet elbow and reinstall it onto the turbo, securing it with the factory bolts. Reinstall the intake tubing. Run the connector side of the wiring harness to an open grommet in the firewall. Be sure to secure it away from any moving parts or direct heat sources. Feed the connector side into the cabin. Remove the fuse box cover and the gauge pod and feed the wiring harness up through the dash. Refer to the included gauge instructions for the correct switch location for your specific vehicle year. If the switches are not in the correct position, use a small screwdriver to flip the two switches on the back of the fuel rail gauge. Feed the wiring harness through the pod and secure the pod to the pillar. Place the gauge into the pod. For this installation, we'll be powering our gauge using expandable circuits, which can be purchased through our website. To test for power, reconnect the negative battery terminal. Using a test light, locate a fuse that receives constant 12-volt power. Then, locate a fuse that receives 12-volt power when the ignition is turned on. Attach an expandable circuit to the yellow wire from the gauge. Remove the constant 12-volt fuse, place it into the circuit, and place the circuit into the fuse location in the fuse box. Attach an expandable circuit to the red wire from the gauge. Remove the ignition 12-volt fuse, place it into the circuit, and place the circuit into the fuse location in the fuse box. To enable the dimming feature, remove the dash trim surrounding the headlight switch panel. Remove the headlight switch and use a test light to locate a wire that receives 12-volt power when the headlights are turned on. Attach a wire tap connector to the headlight wire and connect the orange wire from the gauges. Reinstall the headlight switch and the dash panel. Attach a ring terminal connector to the black wire from the gauges and connect it to a clean, reliable grounding source under the dash. Reinstall the fuse box cover. Power your gauge and check that everything is working properly by starting the truck. You've now successfully installed your GlowShift fuel rail pressure gauge into your 2001 to 2018 Duramax. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please contact us at 1-888-GS-GAUGE, and we'll see you on the road.